What is up, YouTube? Today we're going to be going over the Panthers offense. Now, when I can finally get a freaking chance to be able to play the trial, I'm going to be playing it. I'm going to be spending a lot of time in the Panthers offense. So I didn't really look at their single back in Madden 20. I'm assuming it probably hasn't changed a whole lot. The one I really want to focus on, actually, really quickly, I want to check out is this I-form close. Looks like if they have stretch dive. By the way, running is still good. PA boot flow, PA HB wheel. A lot of these plays like PA boot flow, they weren't as good in 20, but this year they're going to be especially effective, especially when you're creating high-lows over the middle of the field. So it doesn't look like they really have anything too special in that. Again, with runs, we'll be testing a lot of these runs and seeing what is good and what isn't good. But going into their gun, their shotgun formation, bunch HB strong, bunch offset, bunch open offset. We're going to start in the bunch HB strong. Now, if I recall correctly, they do not have mesh post, which is kind of a setback with the Panthers and kind of why they may not be good, but I think they're still going to be good anyways. Dig. Okay, let's look at flanker drive and dig to kind of kick this off. I want you guys to pay attention to the fade on the left side. This particular fade has always been good to be a cover 2 on the sidelines. No matter what kind of drop depth they may set to it, eventually Cloud Flat will bail on it. Now, when we talk about drop depths, we can go into more detail again as I get into the trial and make it videos on 21. It's going to force that flat defender to guard underneath and over the top, and, well, they're going to have to give up something guaranteed. Now, two fade routes, these plays more than likely going to be good for cover 2, especially this flanker drive, because essentially what I'm looking at with this flanker drive right now is that little wheel route ran by the tight end. If you motion over either the drag, I'd probably motion over the drag and put him on a streak to hold the deep half inside and just force the deep half to decide. Then streak your slot receiver. Wheel route, going to be a good way to attack cover 2 on the sidelines. That fade, also a good way to attack cover 2 on the sidelines. Now, dig, flank drive, pretty much the same thing except for the wheel route's going to be missing in that case. You just make different adjustments for each. Flood, tricky. Reason for it, because there's just so many routes going to one side of the field. In Madden terms, it's generally not very good because it's so easy to quick adjust to create it to cover both a high and a low read. Now, this wheel route ran by the slot receiver, it may be glitchy. This is something that you really don't know until you test it. It may even be a good way to beat cover 3. Who knows? HB counter, we don't know what the runs are really going to be like, so this is kind of having to just assume based off of previous years. Counters out of shotgun haven't been too good. HB slip screen. Hallelujah. Screens are back. The running back, from what I understand, what I've seen so far, they do not run into their offensive linemen. They do not get stuck on the offensive linemen. They actually are able to get out into the open field behind the linemen, make a catch, and go downfield. So, slip screens, while they're back, it's not something to spam because, well, it's easy to pick up on as a user. Inside zone. Inside zone has been a constantly good run, and I've been talking to a couple of people, and they are saying inside zone is still good. So, inside zone out of this shotgun may be pretty good, especially if you motion over a receiver to motion block, kind of like a trips formation. Talking about PA bunch shot. So, PA bunch shot. If you guys know the West Coast offense, I can't remember. I think it's crossers or something like that. This is basically the same thing, except it's a play action play. Also, you have the tight end on a delayed flat route. You can change them into a delay fade. You can go ahead and play it the same way as crossers, motion over the drag, high-low read, and I'm assuming that post will probably be a cover 4 and a cover 3 over the top if they didn't change it too much in Madden NFL 21. Read option, Lamar Jackson, enough said. Read option is going to be pretty hard to stop at the beginning of the year with a lack of speed on defense. Tight end vertical. Vertical's been a good play, and it's going to be really good this year because you can now snap throw the wheel route to the outside receiver. Whereas Madden 20, you get punished for it, which made no sense whatsoever. but you can now go ahead and do so. So say they do some sort of cloud flat and drop their flats way back, I don't know. You can go ahead and hit down the flats without having to wait. Maybe they send a heavy blitz and have a deep zone out there instead. You can hit that wheel route again without having to wait. Tight end verticals, basically the same thing, except one has a crosser, one has a dig. Wide trail has been underrated for years. I don't know why more people don't use this. Wide trail, with the user being so tremendously awful, the defense being so tremendously terrible, this is going to be a very tough play to stop. 4 reasons for that. Corner, post, angle, drag. The running back on the little swing route is also good this year because the flats must be respected. If you were to double flat something, more than likely a user can't cover all of that, and there's going to be something open. Wide trail, highly underrated, highly recommend that you guys start including that with your game plan if you have access to Madden 21. If not, find it in Madden 20, start using it. The post on the left side is good, but again, it's something you can't rely on every single time. Z-spot, kind of depends. It can be good, it can be bad, based off of one thing, the Z route. In Madden's past, that route used to be, really rough to be able to defend because it created a high-low read. And this is a big if it is as good as it used to be, and odds are it probably isn't, a simple drag of that little spot route is going to be a nightmare to defend. So in combination with wide trail, going to be really tough to be able to kind of judge, hey, is a tight end running an angle route or is he running a flat route? So a little bit about gun bunch, HB strong. You guys can see huddle.gg. There's Buccaneers, there's Panthers. Keep in mind that these playbooks may not have all these plays. Some may have some that don't. Some may have others that do, etc. So gun bunch, HB strong, definitely worth noting. There is some gold in it to be found. Now we're going to go ahead and go back and move on to bunch offset. I really want to just focus on the bunch formations. Curl flat. Curl flat has been a good way to attack a cover 2. Now, the way that you can set your drop depths, it's certainly not going to be one of those plays that you can just spam again and again and again with the rollouts, etc., or even hitting it from the pocket, because now cloud flats have the capability, as well as curl flats, seam flats, cord flats, etc., to be able to guard these deep corners, but at the risk of giving up the underneath stuff. And again, we'll talk about some defenses you guys can be using when I am finally able to record the stuff. Dig return. Here's the tricky part this year. Man defense. Man defense is always good at the beginning of the year. It's always good. A man press is always tough to beat. Now, I've got a couple ideas that I'm going to be trying to see if I can beat man defense, and so, again, keep on the lookout for that. Double post. Double post doesn't look all too hot. It kind of depends on what the post is like by the outside receiver. That wheel route looks very interesting as it's ran extremely wide. If you think back to the verticals, that tight end does not run out that wide generally. So what you could potentially do, maybe make this a pretty good play, is streak the lone receiver, the little secondary post, the little red post, the highlighted one. You could put him on a drag, motion over, block your running back in, will create havoc again across the middle of the field, and maybe attack a cover 2 on the sideline with the tight end running this wheel route. Flood. Flood's back. Flood's good. Seam streaks are good. I mean, what else? What else do you need to know? Flood's going to be really good this year, especially as we are creating, again, high-low reads across the middle, high-low reads across the sidelines. Flats are a real threat this year. You give up something in the flats, you're giving up 10 yards, almost guaranteed, because now you have to respect the flats, especially if you're very passive on what depth you set your zones to be. So be careful about that. HB crossing screen, the same thing. Mesh post. Okay, I actually did not know mesh post was in here. I'm like, I think it is, but I wasn't sure. Mesh post. I mean, what else can I say? It's been one of the meta plays for Lord knows how long. A long time. Really good. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. The classic setup still works. That's all I gotta say about that. Mesh spot. Mesh spot, I don't think was really recognized by the community as a good red zone play in Madden 20 until late in the year because of this particular wheel route ran by the tight end. Gets open into cover 3 and a cover 2 at a certain time. You got to kind of practice it. With snap throw being a thing, I think it'll still be good, but again, we kind of got to test it. These particular wheel routes by mesh post and mesh spot with the running back are generally pretty tough to defend unless you know what you're doing. Outside zone, it's basically a shotgun stretch play. That's the best way I can put it. It kind of depends on how well the offensive line can block, how well they can actually take their blocking assignments. PA dig fork. Double or deep corner. Think deep corner. That's really all you got to know. It's a good play. Deep corner. Deep corner is unstoppable. It's really hard to defend unless you know what you're doing. Smash return. Man defense. Going back to man defense. This little whip route. I don't know if that's what you call it. Could be a potential to beat man coverage. Kind of depends on how sharply it's ran, how well it's ran, and then what I call the option route, that's what I call it, the little highlighted red route, depends also on how it's ran against man defense. If man defense is able to kind of go and predict that the little stop's going to come, then it might not be too great. If they can't predict it and you can hit it consistently, then it might be pretty good. Again, something you're going to have to go in practice mode to find out. Spacing switch usually has been pretty good about beating man defense because all these little hitches across the field. Hitches have, for the past couple years, beaten man defense because first off, they don't get pressed. Second, man even shaded under does not guard them immediately. Verticals, HB, under. Again, it's nothing different from verticals play. There's nothing really new there. Wide curl. Again, nothing different from mesh spot. You're just kind of limiting yourself a little bit more to what you can and get hit. Inside wheel routes, they may be good this year. They haven't been good, and I don't know. As far as I've been playing Madden, I don't think they've ever been good. They may be good in attacking the seams this year, so keep an eye out for how those develop in Madden 21. Z spot. Here's a tricky part with this. That lone side receiver, that could potentially be a shallow post route, or it could be a slant. We don't know. I don't know yet. I kind of bet it's going to be a slant, and just the way that the play art looks like, it makes it look like it's a shallow post. If it's a post like Miami Cell or Pat Cell used to be, well, that's going to be a hard play to stop. Simply because corner, post, streak, drag, headache central. Z spot and go. Z spot and go is one of those plays you want to just save if you've been spamming Z spot because the user will then bite down on the spot route. Then all of a sudden he's running downfield again and you're going to have to chase him down. So we're going to move on to the next one. And I believe we're open offset right now. There shouldn't be too much here worth noting, honestly. Fake screen wheel is one that it kind of depends. I'm assuming this is going to be a play action play. It looks like almost like a fake RPO kind of deal. Depends on how that post route by the highlighted receiver is ran. Obviously, smoke screens are more likely going to be something you can use, but you got to read on how they have the drop depth set for their flat zones. Flood, good against cover 2. HB draw. I have been watching streams. I've been listening to Twitter. I've been talking to people. And, well, yeah, HB draws seem to be good again. So we're going to have to test that. We're going to have to see what works and what doesn't. Inside zone, I can't really say much more about that. It's good. RPO read bubble. I made a video on these two plays. Read the screen and the RPO bubble. Both good because you just got to read the defense. That's all you got to do. RPO trap. So 0-1 trap plays. 0-1 trap, if they come out in dollar, in Madden's past, before Madden 20, an 0-1 trap worked really good against a dollar set. Don't know what it's like this year. It may be good. It was decent in 20. Not a lot of people used it because not a lot of people came out in dollar. If you did, you come out 1-4 or 6, and you're able to shoot the gap fairly simply. Sprint Z spot. Again, depends on that Z route. If it's good, it's going to be good. If it sucks, it's not going to be good. Wide trail. Here's the difference with this wide trail. That is a comeback route. Depending on how deep that post route is, if that post route is a lot deeper than what it looks like on screen, this may be a cover 3 bomb with a check down and an angle route underneath as well. So just a few things to consider when you're thinking about what playbooks you want to use. I really think Panthers is going to be one of those that is a little bit more slept on. Bunch quads, I believe, is an open set, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's a empty set. Bunch quads hasn't changed. Again, there's pretty simple plays in it. Bunch trail is usually pretty good, especially this particular one with a post and a corner on the same side, as well as a drag, angle route, comeback route, etc. So that play's always been good. Again, it's another underrated play that most people don't use or maybe don't know about. I think 5 wide will finally be viable this year because you do not have insane 1-4-6 blitz, which is sometimes impossible to pick up in an empty set. So, again, kind of just got to mess around with it. As far as I know, pass rush sucks. Just let you guys know right now. Every stream I have watched, pass rush has basically been non-existent. You can just stand in the pocket. Escape artist, I don't really think is needed. Fast break will be nice when we get QBs that can reach the threshold for that. But anyways, that's going to go and take care of this video. Again, I think Panthers is going to be a very, very, very slept-on playbook. And yeah, you might want to go ahead and start using that if I'm being completely honest. So that's going to take care of these few formations, and there's, as you can see, there's a ton more, so it's completely changed. Trey wide flex probably has dagger in it, so this is honestly going to be, I think, one of the best passing playbooks out there. I'm going to say this. I believe strongly that this will be better than West Coast by far. And I mean by a long shot. It will be better than the West Coast offense. And I can almost guarantee you a lot of pro players are hiding the Panthers offense. Promise you it's going to be one of those playbooks that you're going to be seeing a lot of in the MCS. So I really recommend using this playbook. There's a lot of good formations you can just rotate between bunch HB strong, bunch offset, bunch open offset, attack cover 2, cover 3, cover 4, user, man defense, etc. Lots of different things you could be utilizing in it. So that's going to take care of this video. If you are new to the channel, well, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button as we are on the road to closing into our first 1K subscribers. Let's get it. Let's get into lab, boys. I want to hear what things you are learning, what things you are doing to prepare for Madden 21 in the comment section. And until next time, guys, lab it up. This has been T Meister. See ya.